Good evening, and this is your host, Modesty, and welcome to Celebrity Spotlight Live, where we take you beyond the lights, the cameras, and the action of celebs, authors, actors, movie critics, businessmen and women, and other noteworthy professionals. It's Magnificent Male Tuesday, and we are elated to have as our guest this evening Jason Powell. Jason Powell is the designer and CEO of JP Collection. How are you doing this evening, Jason?
I'm wonderful, a little bit underneath the weather, but besides that, I just want to first thank you, for, just allowing me to talk about my brand. So I really, appreciate you just, opening the door for me. I really thank you for that.
You are more than welcome, Jason. Thank you for accepting the invitation. And before we get started, I just want you to know that I have been on your site. I have seen your work, and it is phenomenal. And you have a phenomenal eye for fashion and for color. And based upon what I've seen, would I be correct by saying you're a classic man? Okay, you're a classic man. I think I'll be right.
Thank you.
Saying that. You are so welcome. And there's definitely a time and a place for everything, Jason. There's a time to wear a baseball cap. There's a time for sneakers.
That's right.
And there's a time for jerseys. But unequivocally, there is nothing like a well-dressed and well-groomed gentleman any given day of the week. So we applaud you for your fashion sense and for your fashion skill and ability. We're going to get started right now.
All right.
And at the end of the call, if there's anyone on the line who would like to ask you any questions, we'll give them the opportunity to do so. All right, Jason, at what age did you take an interest in fashion? And how did you know that designing was something that had your name written all over it?
I think a lot of the creativity, even in fashion, the way I was dressed when I was young, by my mother and by my father. I look at even some of the old pictures. Let's say, for a prime example, I look at some of the old pictures of how my mother and my father really dressed me, kind of gave me more of a sense that I was different in the way I was dressing. I always go back to this one picture. I believe I had like yellow shorts on, like a yellow little top with a small, little rim around the sleeves and around the neck collar that matched the pants but had long socks. And I look at some of those pictures, when you look at it, it's like, hey, I look like I was the man back then, being young and stuff like that. Exactly. But I believe I grew more of the sense of going into junior high school. And the reason why I say junior high school, just because everybody wore somebody else's brand. They wore something that they picked out inside the store, and everybody wanted to be a part of the in crowd. Not stating that I did not want to have designer clothes or, the new Uptowns or the new Jordans, but I wanted to be different. And even with that being different, I would take the Air Force Ones and color in the check mark. Like, ooh, where'd you get those from? So even from there, people are intrigued by something different. So even if I colored in that one little check mark on, my Air Force Ones, that made it different. You know what I mean? Where did you get that one from? Because people would normally just go to the store and buy a pair of Air Force Ones, let's say at that time a pair of Jordans and, a jersey at that time. But I put something or added a little bit of flavor to what I was wearing. And then from there, I believe I started to grow in, fashion. And I started to grow and now starting to want to go ahead and design my own material due to the simple fact because when people see me wear it, they was like, wow, where did you get that from?
Right.
And the table started to turn, and then they go ahead, where did you get that from? I said, hey, man, I can design something like this for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's how I got started. That's wonderful. So I guess I can say also that I guess it was almost like Easter every Sunday, that every time you went to church. And so many of us were dressed like that. I mean, things have changed drastically
Yes.
In our society today. But those of us who were brought up with our mom or dad or even grandma taking us to church, we had to look a certain way.
Yes.
And we definitely could not look like we were getting ready to go play basketball,
that's correct.
when we went to church, because that's how they were brought up.
That's
wonderful. So
right.
now, what impressed me about you is this. You have your own collection called JP Collection. Now, when was JP Collection birthed, or when was that born?
At that, I would say 2010, the JPowell Collection really started to unfold, let's say.
Okay.
And I started off with, bow ties first, and I believe it came along with my transition in life. So just like how you say wearing jerseys and time has changed, fashion has changed, I started to really embrace that before people started to really get into the slim jeans, before they started to get into the slim suit wearing. Going along, but part of my transition was pretty much of, you go to an interview, I don't care what interview you're going for, you dress appropriate, even though if that job doesn't require you to wear a suit, a button-up shirt. You go in there and you impress people by how you look. And from there, I want to say, coming out of college and stuff like that, I started to change my look. I didn't want to look like everybody else. And the reason why I say that is because even growing up in, the hood, growing up in Southside, Jamaica, Queens, we all almost kind of wore the same things. It was that era where you wore the big jersey, you wore the white tee, and that was okay for that time. Right. But it was never okay for you to do it to go into an interview. When you're really trying to dress to impress someone, you dress appropriate. And that has been instilled back into my life when I was young. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we always showed respect in a sense. If we was going to a funeral, we dressed up. We wore a black suit. We wore a white, a white shirt. And I think, and I know that even in fashion, the transition has changed. It has shifted in our culture. Let me just say that. The reason why I'm saying that is because people in Germany, in Brazil, was always dressing appropriate in a sense of where they was going. And I believe in my life when I started to change in that fashion and that design and in that wearing those suits, I started to shift in the direction of my life. I started preparing for my success. And a lot of people be like, what do you mean by your clothes and your outfit? Because your clothes and your outfit give you the confidence and the ability to wherever you're going. Because when people see you, they see success or how you dress. They don't have to hear one word to come out of your mouth, but because you look like you're going somewhere, because you look like you're dressed up for success, this is where the transition took place. For me in my life, might not have all the combinations together with color and, with the tape measured and all of those things, that would come along. But at the end of the day, it was something I had to embrace. It was something that was a transition was taking place in my life, and I was preparing even for interviews. I was preparing, talking to coaches and how, when I was getting accepted to college, that I had to dress a certain way. We had to go to class a certain way. So with that being said, I was preparing for greater. You know what I mean? I was preparing for my future. You know what I mean? So that there, I love fashion, but it's a lifestyle, and that's where my brand is at. It's a lifestyle, and if I'm not a part of anyone's wardrobe, I need to know why. I need to know why JPowell Collection is not in your closet, why is it maybe not into one of your drawers, your jewelry box, because, this is going to be, I'm going to make a holistic person wearing my brand. I'm starting with accessories, but I'm going to get bigger in a sense of going down to suits, to blazers, one day even to jeans. So, I'm still preparing. You know what I mean? It's a process to what, the brand is all about,
Right. That's phenomenal, Jason. And you are already a success. And the
Thank
fact that
God.
you just spewed what you just said, you are a forward thinker. You're not just thinking about now or 2016, but you are thinking about the future.
That's
And
right.
being that you're thinking about the future, that means you have goals.
Absolutely.
And you're definitely going to reach these goals. And might I also add, just a little sidebar here, that I believe you would be great also sharing your brand, your collection, and just who you are with other young men, because
That's right.
you're very inspirational and you're very
Thank
motivational,
God.
and you are an entrepreneur. You are an African American male
That's right.
entrepreneur.
That's right.
And that's very important, because our men today, young, old, and older, they're being given a really hard way to go. But nevertheless,
Right.
no one can stop you from doing what you need to do but you.
That's
And you're
right.
definitely on a fast track, I would say. You're already successful, but for
Absolutely. I
even
received
greater,
that.
for even greater success, Jason.
I received
Who
that.
were some of your mentors and advisors or cheerleaders along the
Ah,
journey? And
wow.
the reason I ask is because sometimes when you reveal what it is that you want to do, sometimes you really find out who's in your corner and who isn't.
That's right.
Because, your cheerleaders will come out and your naysayers, they will come out also at the same time. So it's important that we do have mentors, even if it's one person, a
That's
male
right.
or a female. Who were some of your mentors and advisors or cheerleaders?
You know, let me start off with, there's a lot of people I do look up to. It may not be the total person per
Okay.
se,
Yes.
but it can be work ethic. It could be their
Okay.
strength, their ability to communicate with other people or executing. But my biggest cheerleader would definitely be my wife,
Excellent.
Kimberly Powell. I mean,
Yes.
the difference is that I don't have a yes woman. See, I
Mhm.
think the difference, too, when you just got somebody who always yeses you in your corner, truthfully, they're
Yes.
lying to you. Because sometimes it is say, no, pump your brakes. Let's not make
Right.
this decision. Let's make this
Mm.
decision. Let's go
Right.
this route instead of going that route. You know what I mean? Because that's important. Because if you don't have somebody in your corner that's going to tell you the
Yes.
truth,
Right.
they're
Right.
lying to you, and they're going to really set you up for failure, and they're not going to
Mm.
set you up success for success. Growing up in, my biggest cheerleaders again is my family,
Yes.
who has always been there, for me. Even when crisis has taken place and it didn't seem like they was there for me, they would still show up and be there for me, and that's
Right.
very important. So they are the backbone to who I am.
Yes.
So before you see the brand, you do see me. Because you
Mhm.
can't talk about a level of success without talking about failures. And
So
I've
true.
made mistakes to get me to the place I am today. So I might not have arrived to where I am. I might be delayed a little bit, but I'm about to arrive still on time. I'm still,
Yes, you are.
focused on what I need to go ahead and execute in the meantime. You know what I mean? So I do always have respected the ambition of 50 Cent in the neighborhood. Kind of grew up around him. There were some other, a few other celebrities that was definitely from the same neighborhood and the same community. And then I guess
Great.
you would see, and like I said, I'm not giving praises to what was done past, because some people think that that's what that was about. I'm not giving praises to where he is now, great accomplishment, but I am giving praises to of how he bounced back.
Okay.
And a lot of times people don't give real credit and recognition to the fact that it takes a strong individual person to bounce back.
Yes, it
Either
does.
it's going to make you or it's going to break you.
That's
So due to the
right.
simple fact of me seeing how he has strengthened himself, educated himself to be where he is now, and that's one thing I respect. I respect anyone who have been, let's say, arrested, locked up before, you know what I mean, and turn their self around,
Around. That's
to
right.
become successful. And
That's
and
right.
success is not just based upon me getting there financially. The success is the turning point as an entrepreneur to make sure that my family gets set up to where they need to go. Because
That's right.
years ago, we made everything. Years ago, we invented everything. Years ago, we had our own businesses, but then we lost the ownership. But before we lost ownership of what we had, we lost who we was. And that's what we have to get back to, establishing of what we need to do on the earth realm to make things all successful in our community. You know what I mean? My focus would never be just Jason Powell. It just won't be. My success will be partly of where I have come from, my community, my environment, you know what I mean, to where I'm going. Because the difference is I'm not that individual, and I pray that I will never get to the level of forgetting where I come from, because we all come from somewhere. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So you really get birthed out of a process to where you need to go. You know, so you can call it success, you can call it, you know, being a great entrepreneur, but the most important part is showing people and teaching people how to come up or get better. You know, and that kind of put me in a position when I think about some of the things that has taken place in my life. Got an award called the Iron Horse Award, one of the best baseball players in New York City. Mayor Giuliani handed me that award at that particular time. When I think about a scholarship that's in my name, all of those are a level of accomplishments that I never thought would happen for me. You get what I'm saying to you? And this is what it would do to open up other doors to make a greater impact on other people's lives. Because as a designer, yes, I want to make sure everybody looks good and everybody has JPowell brand in their closet. But I want you to understand, too, I want you to build a level of confidence. I want you to know when you put this on, there's greater success for you. Doors are going to open for you. You know what I mean? Like I just find myself to be different than everybody else.
And I'm so glad that you're different, okay?
Yes, I really do.
So glad that you're different. And there's definitely more going on in you, I can hear, than just your ability to design and to see colors and fashion. Are you a minister?
Yes, I am. Praise God. Yes, I am.
The church said amen. There it is right there. Yes, because of the way that you're talking, and you can tell you have been around God.
That's right. Praise God.
And that is a blessing. All right, Jason, you mentioned something a few minutes ago. Oh, wow, time is going already. You mentioned something a few minutes ago as it related to entrepreneurship. Now, entrepreneurship, although it's encouraged by celebrities, it's encouraged by even members of the clergy and, you know, by family and friends, entrepreneurship is risky, but it's also rewarding at the same time. Did you encounter any challenges as you were starting to design, you know, your bow ties, as you were starting the business out? Did you encounter any challenges? And has there ever been a time when you was I'm not going to say tempted, but there was a buffer there that said, Jason, maybe you shouldn't be doing this right now. Maybe you should wait, or, you know, we call it the devil. But
Absolutely.
Did you encounter any challenges, you know, as you were starting your entrepreneurship, as your business?
And I'm happy you asked me that question, because I think I find a challenge of every season of my life. And what I mean by that is because when I was doing this, I didn't have no money. I just had a vision. And wherever there's a vision, there's going to be provision. You know, at the end of the day, if you continue to just keep your like I'm preaching, but any time you keep your eyes on Jesus Christ, because God will take care of what needs to be taken care of. Yes, and I just remember being at the place where I didn't have the money, but I had the vision. I remember, you know, purchasing my name. I remember, you know, getting all these articles and paperwork that I had to go ahead and do, and lawyer fees and stuff like that, and going to the next step. It was one lawyer one time before, and I thank God. It was like, listen, you pay this fee, don't pay us. And I said, what? Pay the fee, don't pay us. We're taking care of this for you. And with that being said, it just let me know I was on the right track. You know what I mean? I was really on the right track, but at that particular time, starting off, I didn't have no money. I didn't have no money, period. to get things going, to get it started. Like I said, I had a vision, and with that vision created the passion to get it done. So when I could come home and work a regular job or working a regular 9 to 5, when I get home, passion kicks in. Now all of a sudden I'm not tired anymore, but I keep on going. I'm hungry. You know what I mean? So it's been challenges and obstacles almost like to give up, because there's times where any entrepreneur could look at their bank account, it would never add up.
Right.
Many a times that the entrepreneurs is going to look at, where's my clients at, where's my clientele. You can have a great week and then have a low week next week. But the difference is that separates you from the crowd is that you keep on going. And you can't look online and look at the likes of people who like you and who don't like you. You got to still stay in there. And what I realize about how things are constantly innovating, when you get to a certain level, everybody wants to get with you.
So
but
true.
Nobody wants to be with you in the middle of what you got to go through. You know why? Because as humans, we don't like the process. We only want the glory. We only want the end results of certain things, and we don't go through the process to where we need to go. But I'm willing to take that risk. Why? Because I believe I'm a world changer. And because if I believe I'm a world changer, then I got to take the risk at certain things. That's still the level of faith, regardless. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's a level of faith, because you're going to take the risk. And I'm willing to take the risk, and I believe the JPowell collection has literally become a household name. The reason why I say that is when someone can call you, or when someone could inbox you and be from Brazil and want to purchase some of your product, that is mind-blowing. You know why? Because I never tapped into Brazil. You get what I'm saying? I only came up with a brand, had the vision, put out my product, people like it, they went to the website and they purchased it. Right. So that is taking a risk regardless of what you do, because what you put in it is what you're going to get out of it. So it does take finances to get to where you need to go. You know what I mean? Because you got to buy the name, buy the domain, buy the rights to your name, and et cetera. Another part of the challenge was that they didn't even want to release my name. So at the end of the day, I was fighting for a whole year to get my name, because somebody was using it the same exact way. But when they had to make the decision of the trademark and all that stuff there, they said, we got to give this guy the rights. So it was still a warfare. It was still a level of not having what I know that this is the vision, the idea I have, and I still was held up a little bit, but still kept going.
Look at where you're at now.
Thank God.
Because that's the favor of God.
That's right.
When someone chooses you over someone else.
That's right.
That's favor.
Absolutely.
That right there is the favor of God. Well, I just have one or two more questions. If there's anyone on the line who would like to ask Jason a question now, feel free to do so. We have 7 minutes left, but before we close out, I definitely want him to share his Twitter handle and also his website. So if there's anyone who want to ask a question, you can go ahead, but if not, we'll just continue. And if you need to butt in, just go right ahead and do so. What are some of your favorite male designers, Jason?
Oh, man. Designers and a creative designers are two different things. When I think about real designers, I think about Rick Owens. Rick Owens is a great, phenomenal guy. There's another guy named Paul Smith. Paul Smith. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're familiar with Paul Smith and Craig Green. But there was another gentleman. I get his last name, I believe, is Huggs. So forgive me if I get his first name wrong, but I think it's Stuart Huggs. This man made a suit out of diamonds, and the suit that he had cost $892,000. That man thought outside of the box. Yes. And it might seem ridiculous, but guess what? What I believe is somebody out there that's going to purchase it, which they did, and that was taking a risk. So if you're a designer, you're not really taking a risk. I want to be set apart. I want to be different from, the competition. I don't look at competition like that, because I believe the household name has been already released and already been, put out there, because God will do the work. So I believe that's exactly how, the whole, the brand is, kind of like taking off. But you do give credit to a lot of the designers out there from Dolce & Gabbana, because some of these men and women don't even really, they just give their input now.
Right.
You know what I mean? That are a
That's
certain
right.
level of just getting their input in, and somebody else behind the scenes is the one who really makes it, who's really one who puts it all together, and that's where I want to branch off to so many different other levels, to ensuring at the end of the day we create jobs as well. You get what I'm saying? We create jobs in that sense of, or helping other young people get to the level where they need to be at and getting their stuff into stores and boutiques and stuff like that, because that's my next, focus is really hitting the stores, really getting into that retail where people can really see the name and be like, oh, wow, I know that person.
Exactly.
That's where I want to,
it's going to happen.
Gear into. Absolutely.
It's definitely going to happen. And last but certainly not least, tell us your handle on Twitter and also your website address, dear.
All right. So my website address is JPowell Collection, JPowellCollection.com. My Twitter is JPowell BTL. The BTL stands for Bow Tie Life. My Instagram is JPowell Collection. Hit me up on there. Inbox me. Any questions, I'll answer them. If they're too late, I'll follow up the next day. But check out the website. The website has just been upgraded. I believe in the upgrade. So things has been changed over. And I started from graphics. So everything that you see there was some blood, sweat, and tears. Not able to sleep at all. So when you look at certain things, those things is from the bottom, the very ground, from the graphics to the website to the picture taking, everything. So I'm just developing a better eye of creating excellence wherever I go. So
excellent. And I've been on the site, and like I said, it's phenomenal. The color.
Can I add one other thing too?
Sure, go ahead.
If anybody who's online and listen to the pre-record, I also extended the JPowell magazine, which that's going to be a next thing that I'm really, geared up to. I want to give other people the opportunity for people to hear their story. I know for a fact that you overcome by the words of your testimony. And I'm not just talking about from a preacher's point of view. I'm talking about for those who are out there in secular arenas. You have a story, you have a testimony, something you've been through that you can empower someone else and encourage them. So if you ever get a chance to really look up on there with the articles, I have one of the greatest writers out there. Her name is Karina Hill, which really assists me in that area, and she makes sure that people's story come out phenomenal. So if you get the opportunity, you could just click on the articles. You'll see a few stories that we have there every quarter. We're trying to release feature someone that is making a great impact in society today.
That is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. I tell you, I'm overwhelmed at this moment, and I am so grateful that you have.
No, I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for you. Really, I am. I really do, because you are in the position to creating other things to make them happen for what they're doing. So you're in a position to go ahead and help someone else out, to make that impact somewhere else globally or across the world, whatever it is. You're in a great position to do so. So I really thank you, for inviting me and being on here. I really do.
You are definitely welcome. And in this 1 minute that we have, Father, we thank you tonight.
Yes, Lord.
I thank you for the Powells. I thank you for Jason and his wife and his family. I thank you, Creator, for making him a creator and a designer. I thank and I praise you for all the success that he has already seen and for the unprecedented success that is coming. Everything that he has put down on paper, I pray that it manifests.
Yes, Lord.
Even the thoughts in his mind that he has yet to put in black and white, I pray that it will come to pass. Yes. I pray that he will never want for anything. Father, I pray that JP Collection will take wings.
Yes.
It's already led him into Brazil. I pray that it will lead him into Argentina.
Yes.
I pray that it will lead him to the fashion runways of New York City and even Paris. I pray that JP Collection will take wings and lead him across the waters to other states and to other countries. He's much larger than just 5 boroughs.
Hallelujah.
God, you put so much on the inside of him. You've put life on the inside of him. Not only the ability to design and to create and to be a brand, but you have put life on the inside of him. And when he speaks, I pray that he will be able to resuscitate other entrepreneurs who are ready to throw in the towel. When he speaks, I pray that you will put within him the power and the spirit, Lord God, to resuscitate other young men and women who feel like giving up. And when he tells his story, I pray, Lord, that will be the resuscitation that they need. I thank you in advance for his success. I thank you in advance for him becoming a millionaire. He's a millionaire in the making, an M-I-M, a millionaire in the making. I claim this for this young man. Everything that he needs, he will have. He will never see a dearth or financial famine. Neither will he see financial collapse, regardless of what's taking place in the economy. He will always have orders. Someone will always seek after him so that he can dress them and make them look like princes and a prince. In Jesus' name, I thank and I praise you for him. Continue to bless him. Continue to increase him. And everything that he touched, not that it will turn to gold, but that it will turn into titanium. In Jesus' name. Amen. JP, thank you so much. I'm going on the internet right now, and I'm going to talk about this. As soon as it's uploaded, I'm going to tomorrow email you and give you the. Hold on one second here.